Hello, everybody. I want to get started with, we'll keep this one today as we get reacclimated this week after the long weekend. We'll keep this one to about 30 minutes. We will, continue doing lessons like we do, but we'll keep this one to more of a Q&A. We do have our partner meeting at noon. We got the rest of the week pretty much normal, though we'll have to use some of the time slots to kind of go over with our partners some of the changes that are about to occur. But other than that, we're going to start this off with Q&A. Anything that you need addressing, I feel may not be anything, but I feel like I wasn't able to be as attentive in social media to answer questions. So I want to make sure everybody's got what they need answered and feeling good about what they're doing, food-wise, behavior modification-wise, whatever it may be. Please feel free to ask any questions that you may have. This is our members-only group. If you're not a member, first class is free. We do hope you'll consider becoming a member. And with that, I think everybody here mostly is members, it looks like. Any questions or comments? Yes, there is a challenge coming up. The great Penny Bentley has recommended, and I think got up a lot of interest in, a 21-day self-mastery challenge. So we'll be posting about that orientation soon. I think it starts in 2 weeks, gives people plenty of time to come up with their foods. But we'll do an orientation and help everybody come up with their 21-day self-mastery meal plan. And then we'll all do that. If you go 21 days straight, get 21 perfect days in a row. Seems to be quite a bit of interest in that. You get the self-mastery badge. That's always been one of our most popular challenges. So that's the new challenge that we're going to be doing. Plus, there's some people that are doing what Sandy and Charles are doing. So I'll go on and pull that up so that you can see. And man, are they not crushing it. They've been very vulnerable. I have gotten some emails that suggested I was being too hard, and I agree. Being too hard with them, and I agree. They asked for it, just so you know. If I'm not that way, they're gonna get mad at me. So just so you know, they love me, I love them. There's no harm intended. I know a lot of people don't realize how long back those relationships go. So this is what they wanted. So I'm not trying to be mean on purpose. So you got Charles and Sandy. Check out what they're doing. They actually started the same way I started 20 years ago. The same nutrition, the same mode of starting, the same nutrition, the same exercise, which was none. They're doing more exercise than I did. They're walking. And the same supplementation, which was the detox first. They're doing this with peanut butter sandwiches and grilled cheese sandwiches, and they are killing it. Okay. Charles is down 23.2 pounds, 5 days. He's into it 5 days. Sandy Gregg, 22.4 pounds. And you'll say, see, the guys always beat the girls. Well, percentage of body weight loss, Sandy's edged him out. She's lost a little more of her starting body weight. Their walking's about the same, and I'm in a thread with them, and they're just loving on each other. It's good competition. I'm really proud of them. I hope you will be too. If anyone wants to do what they're doing, they're going to lose 100 pounds in 12 weeks. But you have to do it just like they're doing it. And they're still on fire. I've had a lot of people asking how they're doing, and I've been passing that along. That, boy, they have a lot of support, and this is going to be a life-saving mission for both of them. And I'm just pleased with, and they're just appreciative of all of you. So that's what we're doing. Those are really the two challenges we have going on. We always do shibboleth simplified and all those things that you can do by yourself. But that's that. And if you would like to do the same thing they're doing, let Lisa know. You can get on my calendar. find you a battle buddy. If you can't find one, I'll help you find one. And then we can get you started losing up to, depending on how much you need to lose, 100 pounds in 12 weeks. Any questions?
Travis, quick question.
Okay.
Skip breakfast, ate air. We'll do the berry parfait for lunch. And I've got a graduation party this evening, which probably be, kids and not food necessarily for me. Should I take the Slim Zip or the Melaleuca Berbena, ever how you say that? Which one's better?
Berberine. They're both different ingredients, so they're not going to clash, but they would both give you extreme appetite control. So it's just up to you, either one of those or both before. Like you could wash your berberine down with a Zip Slim. You'll get a lot better appetite control that way. But they both are pretty potent, best in class. Berberine for a tablet and Zip Slim for a beverage.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Awesome. Anybody else? Penny says June the 10th through the month's end on a 21-day self-mastery, and Penny and I will be helping you all with that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Travis.
Hey.
It's Elizabeth. Hi.
Hey.
I have a question about, I posted something about a diet Lion Day where I put in my goulash, if you will, I put in tomato sauce, a can of tomato sauce. It served 6, but if it was a Lion Day, am I incorrect that I should not be able to put tomato sauce in it?
If you're truly doing a Lion Day, sorry, if you're truly doing a Lion Day, you're not supposed to, but let me tell you how an advanced student should evolve, okay? Technically, what you've had, depending on the fattiness of that meat, is probably a Tiger Day, but if the tomato sauce, diced tomato, they're not going to hurt you. But if you're doing a Lion Day to do a food elimination thing, then you probably shouldn't have the tomatoes. Tomatoes are nightshades and they're high in oxalates and they can cause autoimmune issues. Some people are doing Lion Days to determine what foods they're having issues with. If you're not, it really isn't going to matter. The tomatoes are low fat. What meat did you have?
I used ground pork, and maybe I just titled the day wrong. Would it have been a Tiger Day instead?
That's what I would have labeled it.
Okay, because the meal I used the miracle noodles for the first time, the way that you said to do them in the skillet with the dry skillet, and boy, Travis, they were so good. And I just used one package for 6 servings.
Yeah, they're a lot better if you saute them before you use them in some like a little MCT or something.
Well, thank you for clarifying. I'll just change it to just a Tiger Day, right? That's what it would be?
Yeah,
okay.
Because you can have the pork and you can have the tomatoes.
All right, one other question. I've got a CGM on my arm now, so I have been having trouble with my creamer in the morning. It said it was 0 sugar and it was causing me to spike. So I have switched to half and half fat free, and it gave me trouble. So today I switched to just a half and half, and I didn't have trouble. Do you have any recommendation on which sweeteners are the ones that are causing you to spike?
Sucralose is causing mine to spike. I'm shocked.
Okay.
The only one, not like sugar though. I've tried both. Sugar's worse, but I haven't had a problem with monk fruit. And with my coffee, I use Advocare. You don't have to use Advocare. You could use Premier. I use Advocare's French vanilla ready to drink protein shake, and that doesn't cause a spike.
Oh, okay. So they make a French vanilla?
Yeah, they sure do. It's delicious. And I use it as my creamer.
Is it just a protein shake on Advocare?
It is. It's not a powder. They have one that's ready to drink that comes in a little carton, and I get those and use those.
Fantastic, because boy, my only real bad spike in my entire day is this morning thing, and I know the dawn effect and all of that, but I can really lower it if I'm playing with this. So thank you. I'll go get this AdvoCare one.
Yeah, and keep in mind, y'all, your creamer, it would impact you probably less later in the day than it does in the morning when your liver's doing a dump too. So just everybody's going to react a little bit different to the creamers or to something that's in it. Like even with what I just told her, when I use the RTD in my coffee, I would get less of a spike if I used a powder. The more liquefied something is,
I think
the more it's going to cause a spike. But she's not going to get enough spike from 15 calories that we have sustained high insulin levels all day. But when you start thinking about that little spike in your coffee, plus you do little things wrong throughout the day, you're going to keep bumping up that insulin. So it's good to everything that you can to negate that, the better. So that's what she's doing. Anybody else? The only thing that I've been shocked about wearing a continuous glucose monitor, the only thing I've been shocked, well, I take that back. The things that I thought were bad are even worse. And one thing that I thought was good, and it has caused some spikes, and that's sucralose. Aspartame has caused me no spike whatsoever.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah, it hasn't caused that any, for me, no issue. Sucralose, I'm like, I'll be darned, because I had fallen in love with these sparkling ice drinks. And I had been drinking 4 or 5 a day. Drinking one is it's causing a little bump. And I'm going to get a corresponding dose of insulin to deal with that little bump, but not enough to mess things. But when I'm mine, it bump, because I'm having like 5, 6 a day. Now I know to back down on those and not to have so many. I wouldn't have known otherwise. I love my continuous monitor. The other thing that I've been not happy with that's approved is my popcorn. My popcorn causes a higher blood sugar elevation than I wanted it to. And that's not good. It doesn't matter if it's my clean popcorn or if it's my Orville Redenbacher popcorn. It causes a pretty good spike. It's an approved snack, but here's what I'm trying to teach myself. If I have the sparkling ice 3 or 4 times, bump, 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 then I also have the approved popcorn at night, bump. Do you see what's happening? I'm continuing to push it. So I need to be during the day as consistent and clean as I can. So if I do have that popcorn, it's only a little bit of a bump. It ain't bumping all day. Because remember, I love teaching this part, whether folks is getting it or not. I've got 10 through 1. Okay. So I'm trying to keep my insulin levels down here somewhere around 4, maybe, just for illustrative purposes. So if I'm drinking a sparkling ice, watch this. And let me change colors. I'm drinking a sparkling ice and I bump it. I didn't bump it much, but then later in the day, I bump it. And it's trying to come down. It starts coming down, but not as slow as I'm bumping it. It's starting to come down, not as slow as I'm bumping it. It's starting to come down, not as low as I'm bumping it. Then at night, now it's nighttime, and I have that popcorn, and it goes bump. Do y'all see what's happening? Whereas if I had not had all those sparkling ice, and I had only had the popcorn, because I've now eliminated them, then I would get a bump. I've done good all day. Blood sugar's really low. And then I have my popcorn and I get a bump. And then right before bed, it's coming back down. So everything, the thing that the continuous glucose monitor is teaching me, everything that goes in my mouth, I have to be accountable about. Everything.
Amen. That is so true.
Yeah, it all matters. And it doesn't the Bible teach us that it all matters? The little foxes spoil the vines, a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. The Bible teaches us all this, but yep, just a little bit. He says if you put a new garment on a patch of an old garment up with a new garment, you make both of them look terrible. So you either got to do it right or you got to do it wrong. No in between. Anybody else? Questions, comments? There's no bad question. Can we drink the Zip Slim while doing the 10-day cleanse? I wish you would. I talk more about that, but people start thinking I'm just trying to peddle stuff. But yes, Kelly, absolutely. Zip Slim is taking the fitness world by storm. It's a very potent set of ingredients that can help with cleansing, detoxification, optimizing your hormones, as much as a natural supplement can do. It's really good. Anybody else? Okay. I really appreciate you asking that question. Let me think about how to answer this because I'm not hiding from it. So yes, I am profoundly sorry that I ever mentioned Happy Juice. I hope there are people here that's heard me because some of you are just coming back. I hope that y'all have heard me make acknowledgments to the community for almost a year now. Some of you, because there are others that have not. I thought at the time that it was going to be a great alternative for folks that I knew were battling alcoholism secretly. They were battling things like I was battling with crippling sciatica, couldn't sleep at night, getting 2 hours sleep a night. It was a mood uplifter. As many of you are finding out, and I'm glad if you'll go back and look and timestamp it, you'll see that I come out against it way before the FDA got involved. I come out way before. Please, somebody tell me you've heard me say this. I'm very sorry. It's something that I wished had never come out of my mouth. I'm ashamed that it did. I should have known more about it. I did know a lot about it. I knew a lot about it, but I had no idea its addictive potential, and I had no idea the concentration that was in that blue demon, that bottle. Stay away from it. The only way that I would suggest somebody be on that product, the Feel Free product, the only way I would suggest it would be if they were under a doctor's care and it was an alternative to like morphine or opioids. Like if somebody has to have morphine or opioids to deal with significant pain, I think it's a better alternative, but it shouldn't be a part of a program like this. That should be something that people take under a doctor's care. I suggest that y'all will see it as a pharmaceutical not long from now. And I hate that it's wrecked a couple of my family members. It's affected people bad, and I'm very sorry. It was out there without me getting it out there, but it was helping me with my sleep. It was helping me with my sciatica. And the problem with it is you build up such a tolerance to it so rapidly that before long it has a lot of deleterious effect. It's fine if you could limit yourself to a serving or two a day, It would be one of the best things that's ever come on the market, but you cannot. I'm a disciplined person and I couldn't stop it. And the withdrawals are terrible. So please don't ever start that stuff. And I'm sorry that I brought it up. I come out against it last October, September. I come out against it last September. And I was done with it at that point. Does that make sense? You like it? Please do it under a doctor's care. I don't know how many you're drinking or taking, but if you need help getting off of it, let me know. You got to come. You're gonna have to be under doctor's care. You cannot once your opioid receptors they've absorbed as much as they can. Every time your opioid receptors release some of it and you use it, you're going to crave more, and you're going to keep craving more and more and more. And then it's going to have some very negative consequences. So, and I'm glad to know that you were on it before me. So just get off of it if you can, or do it under a doctor's care and supervision. Does everybody know what I'm talking about? Okay, yeah, feel free. That's right. Thanks, Tammy. Feel Free tonic was something that every influencer and wellness person, before we knew about the addictive potential, Ben Greenfield was talking about it. He's my go-to guy. Everybody was talking about it, and you take it and immediately it's like, wow, this is the real deal. And none of us knew about the negative effects. They're probably going to take it off the market and make it by prescription only. It's a very powerful set of plant alkaloids. Stay away from kratom and kava. That's my official stance on it. Stay as far away from it as you can. Does that make sense, everybody? It's not like zip. What's the difference between zip? So Zip Slim is not plant alkaloids that they don't affect the psychosis. So if you take kratom or kava, they have a psychoactive effect. They affect your decision making and your rationalization like a narcotic. Zip Slim doesn't do that. Zip Slim turns on and off switches that help with appetite control, help with leptin, help with ghrelin. It's not like that. This should fall in the category, kratom and kava should be in the category of something like potent forms of marijuana. Does that make sense? Karen said, I have a family member who left heroin and is now addicted to kratom. Yep, same thing. It might as well be heroin. None of us knew that. That's why I come out in October and said, I will have nothing to do with it hereforward. It's one of the things that affected shibboleth adversely because a lot of what we were using to pay the bills was coming from that. So you can imagine coming out before anybody knew and saying, well, I won't mention it again. I'm not having anything to do with it. I hope some people were there to hear me say that. It hurt, but it was the right thing to do. So that was a tough one to talk about. Thanks for bringing it up, though. How do you get off of it? You have to work with a doctor, taper down on it. Don't try to come off of it cold turkey. So if you're doing, how many bottles are you doing? Okay. See me. Email me, travisjack777@gmail.com. So 10 bottles a day is 20 servings a day. You got to go see a doctor. So what I would do is talk with a doctor about tapering off. Maybe I got a schedule I can send you that I used where I tapered off. So let's maybe start, it's very expensive too. So maybe start with 6 bottles and then every 2 or 3 days we taper down. If you'll take it and mix it with a beverage, it'll go longer rather than just shooting it. And then you can taper down and the withdrawals won't be as bad. And I also would take magnesium. Magnesium helped me get off of it because that way you won't feel the anxiety of coming off of it. You can take magnesium. I took mellow out, but you could find another form of magnesium, anything to keep you calm while your body's craving it. It won't take you but about a week to come completely off of it if you're determined. And the way I looked at it is, I'm just going to feel the way I feel. I'm just going to feel the way I feel. And I looked at it like I had the flu. That's how I looked at it. Well, I'm not going to look at it like I can fix this, right? Because you'll want to know. So I've got the flu, and I convinced myself I had the flu, and the flu was gone in about a week. I hope that makes sense. It's just, if you go to it and get it, you're going to feel better instantly. So you got to convince yourself you got the flu, and you just feel the way you feel, and it'll be over in a week. And then you're off that stuff. And then just don't even think about it ever again. Anybody else having trouble with that? If you are, let me know. I can send you that tapering schedule, and that should help you. Sorry, y'all. I didn't mean to interrupt that, but that's good. Anybody else? Questions, comments, anything? Yes, it is better than alcohol. It's better for you than alcohol for sure. Good point. They're both bad. Anybody else? Changes coming, is that right? Depending on what you mean by changes. But I will be talking to our partners several times about the changes so nobody's caught off guard. But everything I've been telling y'all, I'm trying to hold true to. So lifetime members still have access to what they purchased, but I've got to change up some other things, and I'll be talking with the partners about it. I'll make sure, no, it's okay. I'll make sure all the partners are aware so they're not blindsided. But not taking anything away from anybody. I'm doing everything I can to make sure nobody has anything taken from them. Anybody else? Yes. Again, I'll try to move on from the subject. Feel free. I didn't do anything wrong. I just feel responsible that I had such good success from it that I told others about it. It wasn't anything that we made. This is in convenience stores all across the land now. It's in doctors' offices. Doctors are still utilizing it in their clinics, in their office as an alternative to painkillers. But nobody knew the potency of this particular form. And I did, and it worked great for me, worked fantastic. But when I heard about other people having really, especially people on antidepressants, having issues with it. So again, I'm not saying that it's not right for y'all. It's kind of like drinking a glass of wine. Back last September, October, we always taught people how to have their wine. The Bible isn't expressly against a glass of wine. But I became convicted over some of this stuff. And I said, I will no longer talk about how to drink alcohol on this program. I will not talk about any product that has psychoactive effect. I'm ashamed that I did. We only should go to the Lord for our help as it relates to depression and other things. And if we need pharmaceuticals or something potent like that, we need to go to a doctor. So that's kind of been my stance, not just with it. I started telling them anytime they find alcohol on the website, remove it. And I'm not against, if I see somebody out there having a glass of wine, you may see me having one, but I'm not going to teach it, because what I have found is there are some people that have very addictive personalities, and I don't want to be the one that justified that. Does that make sense, everybody? That's just my take. Is it okay to swap protein shake from lunch to dinner for Battle Buddies? It is. Yeah. Having a shake at dinner and a sandwich for lunch is even better. Less calories in the evening is even better. If we're going to be a Christ-centered program, I don't want to talk about anything that can alter somebody's that part. Their decision making. I don't want to alter anything that doesn't improve decision making. That's a good way to put it. If it helps with decision making, I'm all for it. Anybody else? Lisa, would you put my email one more time? Thank you. Everybody good? You happy? Sorry that we're staying on the subject. These are really good questions, though. Kratom and kava is not just feel free. Do most of y'all even know what we're talking about? So we're in nutrition. So these are plant-based things. Kava and kratom are taking the market by storm. Feel Free was the only one, it and Catch Botanicals were the only ones that I could find that wasn't dangerous to the digestive system. All forms of it you should stay away from if you're not under a doctor's care. The other forms of kratom are even worse because they have stripped out plant alkaloids that help you digest it. Like kratom in a bad form will destroy your liver. Kava will destroy your liver. Feel Free doesn't do that because they kept all of the plant alkaloids in it, but that's why it's overtly potent. So when you're talking kratom and kava, we're living in a capitalistic society. So anything they can get you hooked on, and you have to repeat by it. And that's what they're doing now with kratom. They're taking it so they can make it more affordable. They're stripping out the plant alkaloids that allow it to be non-toxic to the human liver. So if you're taking those cheaper forms of kratom, you can destroy your liver. I know someone right now that didn't do Feel Free. They started going to a convenience store and buying a cheap form of kratom, and they got hooked on it, and they had to have a liver transplant. So this stuff is dangerous, especially if it's not the one we talked about. Stay away. Anybody else? I mean, it's a soccer mom thing. It's not a shady, it's people, ladies all over the country are doing it. Men all over the country. Makes you feel better until it don't. All hearts and minds clear? No more questions? All right, so at noontime, we'll have our partner meeting, Partners Faithfully Fit. We'll have our meeting, and I look forward to seeing you at noon. Thank you, Janice. Shirley said it made me sick. Glad I did it. Yep, I'm glad it made you sick too, so that you didn't do it no more. My problem, it didn't make me sick because it made my back feel better. I wished it made me sick too. It was hard to taper down. Everybody good? All right, we'll close out in a word of prayer, and I'll see some of you at noon. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in the earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day, Lord, our daily bread, and forgive us of our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. See y'all in a little bit.